Historically, low arches were considered to infuse the body with more impact during running, resulting in a greater risk of injury. To compensate for low arches, the most common therapeutic approach was to run in a running shoe with arch support, but doing so leads to fewer opportunities to enable the arch to strengthen on its own because external sources of support largely robs the feet of natural resources to self-strengthen. Because of this, cushioned running shoes with arch support have been largely credited to reduce healthy foot function because in these shoes, the foot in arch has a greater affinity to grow progressively weaker and less resilient. In this way, the arch remains low, if not lower, if not collapsed or completely collapsed. However, a different therapeutic consideration is foot strike landing pattern during running. It turns out that one consistent finding in the research is that runners with low arches who heel strike during running may be more likely to get injured than low arched runners who run with a forefoot strike landing pattern. And I'll tell you why that is in a moment. Studies published in research pertaining to running related injuries have found that low arched heel strike runners produce greater impact that puts greater pressure on the lower back. This piece of data was revealed in the Journal of Foot and Ankle International. I've linked the article down below in the description box, which found that the acceleration rates and amplitudes, particularly at the lower back, were significantly greater in heel strike runners with low arches as compared to heel strike runners with higher arches. Therefore, this data is suggestive that heel strike running can do the most damage in terms of injury if the runner has abnormally low or collapsed arches, as runners with low arches seem to have a pronounced impact amplification on the body with greatest increases of impact on the lower back as compared to heel strike runners with higher foot arches. More research backs up the notion that low foot arches may be a risk factor for injury if you run with a heel strike landing pattern, such that low arches might not be well adapted and strong enough to deflect and effectively manage accumulated loading during heel strike running. Because remember, heel strike running is considered the most impactful, forceful style of running compared to forefoot running, which generates significantly less impact. Overall, mounting evidence has found that low-arched runners are more susceptible to soft tissue injuries compared to high-arched runners, reaffirming the long-standing belief that low foot arches may have more painful outcomes, more injurious implications than runners with high arches. And this is especially true if the low-arched runner runs with a heel strike landing pattern. The evidence is also mounting that when it comes to impact and high loading during running, forefoot running is one of the best ways to strengthen your mechanical defenses to relieve a lot of stress, strain, and impact force from the muscles and joints. This is why a lot of forefoot runners experience less physical pain, fewer symptoms of runner's knee, and other muscular pain problems as compared to heel strike runners. This is because there is a well-supported theory that forefoot running eliminates the major impact components linked to most common running-related injuries associated with heel strike running. So essentially, less impact is transmitted through the body if you run with a forefoot strike landing pattern. And I link below in the description box as to what a proper forefoot strike landing pattern looks like during running. This is why forefoot running is so significant in the realm of injury prevention, especially for low-arched runners. Because of the less impact factor in forefoot running, a runner with low arches can avoid over-reliance on arch-supportive running shoes in efforts to avoid injury. And instead, a more optimal strategy to prevent injury is to adopt a forefoot strike running style, because other recent research has found that in forefoot running, it doesn't matter if the runner has high or low arches, you still get a significant reduction in impact loads in forefoot running than in heel strike running, One notable study published in the Journal of Foot and Ankle International discovered that arch height did not affect loading in forefoot running. So if the runner had low arches, they did not generate more loading if they ran with a forefoot strike landing pattern, or runners with higher arches did not produce a more impact if they landed again with a forefoot strike landing pattern. The researchers concluded that when it comes to forefoot running, arch height was a non-significant relation to dynamic loading, and that arch height was a non-indicator of excessive loading. Arch height was not a direct causal factor for injuries in forefoot running. This means that if you have very high or very low arches, there's a good chance you will not generate more loading, and you can enjoy a significant reduction in chronic annoying injuries if you land with a forefoot strike landing pattern during running. So what all this means in a broader view is that it means that if you have low arches, if you've been struggling with injury, and if you are a heel strike runner and you haven't had any luck with running in motion control stability running shoes with tough arch support, you may want to possibly align your foot in a way where you land on your forefoot when you run and not heel first in order to protect yourself from high impact. This is just one of the many reasons forefoot running takes center stage in providing better opportunities to avoid injury, especially if you have collapsed arches. For even better improvements in arch height profile and arch height function, it's best to run forefoot in minimalist running shoes that mimic or reflect the barefoot condition or that feel barefoot-like, to allow more natural physical demands to ripple through the foot like waves and stimulate greater muscle tone throughout the foot, which is going to improve the capacity of the muscle groups around the arch to hold up the arch more sufficiently. This is why I really love minimalist running shoes, because minimalist running shoes really do have a dual purpose, because the thinness of the outsole enables you to clearly sense and feel the ground, enabling you to accurately land precisely on your forefoot during running. And at the same time, the lack of arch support will help bolster arch strength, which also has been shown to improve symptoms of plantar fasciitis, because when the arch is strong, the plantar fascia becomes less overburdened with mechanical stressors and loading during running. Basically, running in minimalistic running shoes is an ideal way to activate more muscle within the foot. But you can also walk barefoot on uneven surfaces to help strengthen the arch. For if you have low, weak arches, the process of arch strengthening does have a sensory component to it. And what that means is that when you walk barefoot on natural surfaces, the nerves that line the bottom of the feet are hyperactivated, hyperstimulated, which creates unique patterns and muscle activation within the foot that have been found to provide critical support in helping build the capacity for stronger, healthier feet. And this is one of the reasons why many runners with collapsed arches have benefited so greatly from adopting a more barefoot lifestyle. I hope you found this video insightful and informational. And for more information regarding the health and performance benefits of forefoot running versus the health harming effects of heel strike running, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you will also stay up to date on the health benefits of barefoot and minimalist running. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads. Bye for now.